Hello. For those of you who are new in our group, I wanted to take a second to introduce myself. I'm Jamie, and I've been working with teenagers since 1999, a really long time. I started as a cheerleading coach, and I enjoyed that so much that I decided that maybe teaching was the right path for me. So I became a board certified teacher, and I taught at the high school I graduated from for 10 years. And then more recently, in 2011, I opened up a private practice based really just solely to work with teenage girls and young women. I do work with some boys here and there, but for the most part, there's a large theme in my private practice, and it's girls who struggle with anxiety. So that's what led me to creating this group and designing a really cool group of tools to help girls who are struggling with anxiety, and why I'm here to share those things with you. A topic that has been on my mind a lot because for whatever reason, it's come up in almost every single session that I've had this week with girls is the topic of self-destructive behaviors. It's interesting because years ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago, I had this aha moment, and I realized that every single girl that I work with that struggles with generalized anxiety and social anxiety struggles with self-destructive behavior. And it can look in different ways, and I'll share those ways with you. But it just was interesting to me that every single girl was participating in self-destructive behaviors. Oftentimes when I ask parents, like, have you noticed that does your daughter have any self-destructive behaviors? Oftentimes they'll say no, but if I dig a little bit deeper, we realize that she actually is. So I break up self-destructive behaviors into 3 categories, very similar to abuse. We have physical self-destructive behaviors, we have emotional self-destructive behaviors, and we have verbal self-destructive behaviors. So quick explanation of each of those categories. Emotional, I can't even say which one's the most damaging, but I think the emotional self-destructive behaviors are at the core of all of your girls and all girls in general who struggle with anxiety. And this is similar to the core belief that I am not enough. So it's this emotional berating of what you're worth, what you deserve, what type of relationships you deserve, how people should treat you, what sort of not great ways you allow people to treat you because you believe that you are not enough. This emotional self-destructive stuff is pretty damaging. So this core belief that girls feel that I am not enough is a form of emotional self-destructive behaviors. And this like plays on loop in their heads all through the day. So this core belief ends up impacting everything that girls do. The verbal self-destructive behaviors, a really easy way to understand this one is thinking about name calling. You know, we all know that if we call someone a name that we're potentially hurting that person. And so most girls would never do that. Yet they'll call themselves names all day long in their head. It's things like, oh, I can't believe you said that. You're so stupid. Or you're the most awkward person in the world. They don't even want to talk to you right now because you're so awkward. Other names that I hear girls use in my office will be like crazy, awkward, stupid, ugly, oh, the list goes on. Crazy is the big one I hear a lot, but those are probably the main ones. But girls are talking to themselves in this way, and I'm sure you can imagine how if you're constantly calling yourself names, it's going to impact your life, and it's very self-destructive. So it's, you know, as an interesting experiment, you could sit down with your daughter and ask her about this name calling, this form of verbal self-destructive behaviors. Ask her, you know, if it's comfortable, what sort of name she might call herself and why, and have a conversation around that. Then the most apparent, I think, and maybe the scariest for parents is the physical forms of self-destructive behavior. Those can look like self-harm, which cutting is part of self-harm, but there are many other ways girls self-harm, scratching, pinching, pulling. And one thing I will point out, just so that you are all aware, is that girls, like, the idea is that girls cut on their arms, and that's absolutely not the case. Some do, but girls are usually trickier than that with their self-destructive behavior. And so they'll cut in places that you aren't able to see. So it might be upper thighs, inner thighs, hips. I worked with this girl. She was 13 years old, and I won't give you much detail about her, but when I met her, she had more cutting scars than I didn't even know that it could possibly be this bad. So her mom obviously knew that this behavior was going on and was doing everything in her power to get her daughter help. But there are many, many, many girls out there that nobody would suspect is participating in self-harm. So just be aware that it's not just something that shows up on girls' arms, but it could be in several other places. But then the physical self-harm can show up in other ways too. It can show up in ways like risky behaviors. This could be drinking, drugs, sexual activity, just doing things because, again, at that core belief, they believe that they're not good enough, they're not enough. So they're doing things to try to make themselves feel better. And those also fit into the physical category of self-destructive behaviors. So the old belief, or where your daughter's at with the I am not enough, I am not good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, attractive enough. Hi, Jessica. That's okay, you can watch the replay. I'm glad you're here. But that core belief of not being enough is impacting every single moment of her waking hours. The new belief, and what I've developed over the last, I've only been doing this particular program for the last about 3 years. It's a program I created, and it's called the Social Reframing Blueprint, and it teaches girls how to get down to that core belief of I'm not good enough, I'm not enough, and to rebuild a newer belief of I am good enough, I am enough. And just that one thing alone, the Social Reframing Blueprint, has changed the course of countless clients' lives, like hundreds of girls that I've worked with, just getting down to that core belief, helping them break it apart and see that it isn't true and that belief is not serving them and it's based on lies, and then helping them construct a new, more positive, empowering belief that they can take and go and use for the rest of their entire lives. So self-destructive behavior is something that all girls with social anxiety participate in. So just know that it can come in different forms. It can be physical self-destructive behaviors, it can be emotional, and it can also be verbal, and it can be all three. So something to look for in your daughter is just to be aware of self-destructive behaviors and not to be closed to the idea that she is actually doing these things. If you would like to learn about the Social Reframing Blueprint, book a call with me. It's a really cool program, but I can individualize it for your daughter on that phone call, and that's one of my favorite things to do. So I hope you learned a bit about self-destructive behaviors today and why girls participate in them and how we can get them to stop. I look forward to speaking with you. I actually get to speak with like 5 of you tomorrow, and I'm excited about that. And I'm going to go in and open up a few more time slots because I'm getting messages, and I know you guys are desperate to find answers for your daughter. So I welcome those phone calls, and I look forward to getting to know you guys on a deeper level. And the phone is an awesome way to do that. So look for that Schedule Once link that I'm going to post in the comments below. And then I hope you catch this on the replay. I'll be talking to you soon. Bye.